Hello and welcome to this course on quantitative research in education. I am Wellington Alvarez and I'll be your instructor during this course. I've got my degree in marketing from University of Surrey and my master in international management from Roehampton University, both in the United Kingdom. At the moment, I am doing my PhD program in marketing from Universidad of Valencia in Spain. My research field is about mobile apps. The next slide shows you a bit about my professional and educational experience. As you can see, I've been part of other universities and well-known companies. I also leave you my social media, email, and telephone number in case you need to contact me. Let's go back to the class now. Here you have Unit 1 that is about the foundations and generalities in quantitative research. It is important for you to remember that this course has 4 units and each unit has 2 topics which are split up in subtopics. Today we're going to be talking about topic 1, that is an introduction to the quantitative research. The subtopics we're going to study today are subtopic 1, to check about the different research approaches behind quantitative research. Subtopic 2, to check the epistemological foundation of quantitative research. Subtopic 3 will be to understand when do we have to use quantitative research. And finally, subtopic 4, to be aware of the different advantages of using this method. It's time now to talk about the objective of this class. That is to achieve an in-depth understanding of the different quantitative methods that can be used in the context of pedagogy. But now you might be wondering, what is educational research? And educational research is the application of all of these methods to try to solve educational problems or to provide information about them. What type of problems? Problems with students, problems with teachers or school administrations, or any other problem related to the field. Right now, you're watching in the graph the different characteristics that have a quantitative research approach. It is deductive, that means it starts with the formulation of hypotheses based on theories to reach a logical conclusion. Measurable, because it's about data that can be gathered and analyzed and deals with numbers, use statistics, large samples, and useful to generalize results. Many of you might be thinking it's going to be a difficult class and that maybe you need a strong mathematical or statistical knowledge to perform all this kind of analysis. The truth is that thanks to technology and the software package that are available in the market, we now have all these tools available to perform this analysis easier. We're going to be studying about SPSS and Smart PLS3 that you can find in the syllabus of this course. You might ask yourself, why are these important? These are important for you to read scientific articles, understand the methodologies that they apply, and try to transfer all this knowledge to the educational context in Ecuador. It's also important for you to do your dissertation to get your degree. Let's now have a look of the different research approaches used in research. As you can see in the table, there is a difference between qualitative and quantitative approaches. The role of theory in quantitative research is more deductive. The epistemological and ontological orientation is more positivist and realist. Some of the characteristics of this quantitative approach is that it's more objective and is impersonal and provide generalization for further studies, and the type of data is useful to be quantified and use numbers to do it. This graph shows you how the inductive research differ from deductive research using quantitative research. Usually, in quantitative research, we begin with a theory-driven hypothesis, which guides data collection and analysis, as you can see on the right side of the graph. On the left side is more about qualitative research, in which we try to develop theory based on observation. In that graph, you have how is the research process when you take a quantitative approach. It starts from the identification of a problem, then you formulate research questions, review the literature, formulate hypotheses, do your research design or methodology, you test this hypothesis, and finally you draw your conclusions about what you are researching. After having reviewed the main concepts about quantitative research, it is now the time to check the epistemological foundations in quantitative research. That graph shows you the relationship between ontology, epistemology, and research paradigm. So, what is ontology and epistemology mean? Well, ontology examines the nature of reality, while epistemology studies how you can examine reality. Ontology is interested in addressing the question, what is reality? There is simple ontology that exists. The first one suggests there is only one single reality. The second, that there are multiple realities. Thirdly, that reality is constantly negotiated, debated, or interpreted. On the other hand, epistemology refers to how an individual understands knowledge. In other words, epistemology refers to the question, how can I know reality? There are simple epistemology that exists. They believe that knowledge can be measured using different reliable designs and tools. Secondly, that reality needs to be interpreted to uncover the underlying meanings. Thirdly, that reality should be examined using whatever tool that is available to solve the problem. When you combine ontology and epistemology, you are able to get a holistic view of how to understand knowledge. This is what we mean when we refer to research paradigm. Using the three, ontology and epistemology, that I mentioned before, I will now show you how these combine form the three most research paradigms used in the social sciences. The first one, positivism, has the ontology that is only one single reality or truth. And the epistemological stance, knowledge can be measured. Constructivists believe that there are multiple realities, while the epistemological suggests that knowledge needs to be interpreted. The last one, pragmatists, believe that reality is constantly negotiated, debated, or interpreted, while epistemological suggests that knowledge should be examined using best tools. Once you have determined your research paradigms, you are able to establish the approach and methodology that is best suited to examine the knowledge you are interested in. That is why it is very important for you to understand your research paradigm. So, when do we use quantitative research? Here are some examples. The first one is to get a quantitative number. For example, how many students are there in your school? How many teachers are there in your country? The second one is to get a quantitative answer. For example, are female students rising or falling in your school? The third one is about to know the state of something. For example, what factors might be influence students to drop school? And the last one is to test hypotheses or know the relationship between them. For example, are living conditions affecting the student's achievement? And finally, let's have a look of some of the advantages that we have when we use quantitative research. One of them is that it allows larger samples because, using some of the tools that we are going to be reviewing in the next chapters, for example, using questionnaires, will allow you to get more respondents. Another one is that it can be replicated. When you use this type of methodology, maybe this one can be used in another country or in another culture. to measure the same problem. Another one can be that the interference of the researchers can be avoided because you use different instruments that are not usually face-to-face, and the last one that supports generalizations of the population. And this has been an introduction of what we're going to be studying during this course. I now invite you to check the additional resources you have in your platform, and see you next class.